You're probably slide canceling wrong in Warzone 3. Slide canceling itself is pretty easy, but doing it effectively in a gunfight is what's difficult. This is Warzone Movement 101 Part 2, Slide Canceling Edition. The biggest mistake I see a lot of players make when slide canceling is wide swinging. So instead of slide canceling up to a piece of cover or up to the edge of a corner, they're actually wide swinging way out of cover, which turns the gunfight from an easy win into a 50-50 that can easily be lost if you miss your shots. Now, there's a couple key settings that we need to get right to have you slide canceling correctly in Warzone 3. The first one, you need to make sure you have slide maintain sprint turned on. If you have this turned off, you're often going to get stuck in a crouch animation after your slide ends. Number 2, automatic tac sprint. You need to have automatic tac sprint on. But automatic tac sprint will allow you to move much faster in gunfights. Now, your third key setting is your slide and dive behavior. This needs to be set to either hybrid or slide only. Two of the options, tap to slide and tap to dive, have a delay built into the action because the game is waiting to see if you're tapping or you're holding to do one action or the other. I personally use hybrid. Hybrid allows you to tap just to slide, and then if you want to actually dive, you can tap it while holding the sprint button, which allows you to do things like dolphin diving, which is still a very useful movement mechanic in Warzone. The most effective button combination to slide cancel is pretty simple. It's slide and then jump. Slide, and then jump. There definitely is a correct and incorrect way to slide cancel in Warzone. As I stated earlier, the biggest mistake I see a lot of players make in Warzone 3 is actually wide swinging with their slide cancel, right? Let's just say this right here is the piece of cover that I'm kind of come up behind, and I have an enemy downrange, right? What a lot of players will do is they'll slide cancel way out here and then challenge the gunfight. And basically this turns what should be an easy gunfight into a 50-50, because if you miss your shots and you kind of potato around, you don't always have enough time to get back behind your piece of cover and save yourself the plate. And so what you always want to do in a gunfight is make sure that, like, when you identify a piece of cover that you can shoot from, whether it's a crouch height, whether it's a wall you're trying to peek around, just slide canceling right up to the edge and then peeking. You slide cancel up, you shoulder peek and go back. When you slide cancel right at the edge like that, and you're playing really close to your cover, not only does it make you a more difficult target to hit because it gives your enemy less time to react to what you're doing, but you also have that chance to disengage should things go bad. Slide canceling is the most effective tool you have in your arsenal to break your opponent's camera. Your goal in these close-range gunfights should always be to break your opponent's camera so that you can take the least amount of damage as possible and stay mobile during the fight. Whether that's faking left and then going right to break their camera outside of a doorway, whether that's sliding diagonally towards an enemy inside of a room that's camping and kind of sliding under their gun, or even sliding down the stairs as somebody who's holding the bottom. Slide canceling allows you to duck your head underneath their gun, effectively becoming invisible for a moment. It breaks their aim assist. It makes it much more difficult for enemies to track you in a gunfight, and being elusive is what wins fights. So hit that follow button if you want to catch Warzone Movement Part 3, and make sure you send this to a friend who has terrible movement.